trust the journal Europe to tell the truth as best it can. It's a standard of journalism which has the respect of the business community worldwide.
We're uniquely positioned, I think, to not only with our own staff of reporters and editors to cover that story, we can add so much more. We can add the global dimension of the American perspective from an unrivaled source, the Wall Street Journal in the States. We can add Asian perspective from our sister publication, the Asian Wall Street Journal.
The Wall Street Journal Europe, now celebrating its 10th anniversary, is focused on European-based business executives with pan-European and probably global business responsibilities. And its pan-European industry specialists deliver a depth of analysis that such executives find extremely useful.
The Wall Street Journal Europe is a serious paper. It's written by mature journalists who are very interested in their subject, who obviously enjoy business, like business, and they talk about it in a way that appeals to businessmen.
I have learned to treasure the journal for its structure and its style. If I have 30 minutes in the morning in the car on the way to the office and I glance through the journal, I get out of the car when I arrive at my office with the comfortable feeling that I hardly missed a major event in the world.
The Wall Street Journal brings that blend of American and sort of pan-European or transnational approach to news, which is more and more necessary in our trade.
Well, I think it gives you an insight about a number of things that you don't think about generally. I mean, a lot of people read newspapers to confirm in the newspapers what they already think. It's nicer to look at the newspaper and suddenly have something hit you and say, why didn't I think about that?
No other business publication, newspaper or magazine, has a reporting network as extensive and respected as the Journal Europe's. And with its 10 years of publishing in Brussels and focus on the community, the Journal Europe keeps readers abreast of the latest developments in an increasingly important area. As a publication, the Journal Europe is closely tailored to its readers. For European business people, it's news they can use.
Our style is to make complicated, often business or economic topics readable. That's a key word, readable and relevant.
I think that we have a real knack of getting people into the stories and telling them not just what the story is, but why it's important and why it may not appear to be important today, but might be important tomorrow. And I think that the style of writing reflects that and just draws the readers in and makes them feel involved with the stories.
The quality of the articles frequently really approach quality of a good analyst's statement, but also on issues like on environmental issues or on, in the case of the European version, on Eastern Europe, which are quite informative and very competitive as regard to other newspapers.
I like the layout, I like the cleanliness of the paper, but I can't read it all at once, and so I do like to mentally mark what I'm going to read, and then I read it later. But I do read it, and it is required reading daily, I have to say.
It seems to fit my style. I don't know if you ever commuted by train, but the first thing you do when you sit down and read is you fold the paper into half, so the Wall Street Journal is very convenient with its long columns, and I just follow the business column down and pick out those articles which I want to pursue in more detail in the inside.
The most important part of the most important reason for reading the Wall Street Journal Europe is because it gives us a global perspective on business particularly, and it also helps us look at travel trends. It does concentrate quite strongly on that globally.
Well, I think it's good writing, and I enjoy good writing.
Yeah, was Tim pretty sure in that piece? Because when I talked to him earlier in the day, he was pretty iffy on Rexroth and whether Rexroth was really good.
Our reputation for accuracy, which we enjoy based on 100 and some years of accuracy in the American paper, is our proudest possession. We cherish it, we drill it into the minds and the soul of everybody who comes to work here. We do it very simply, we just don't get things wrong.
I know from personal experience that they make a great deal of effort to be completely accurate. They check and double check the story. They check it with you and they check it with others.
There is one article which I remember on ICI DuPont, a an operation which made the headlines, and on which actually we were in which we were active, and the quality of the reporting was excellent, and I can say so because we were dealing in that operation.
Are there any specific economic items I know have been reported but not fully in the domestic press? I can find a proper report in the Wall Street Journal, you know, very easily and very quickly.
Not only do I read it, but I do find that all my colleagues are, you know, placing importance on what is written there, and you can see from their faces sometimes, you know, how serious it is taken.
Well, it's very business-like, but also with a touch of something different. I think I read an article, maybe it's today, on Japanese brides, or you know, well, there is a touch of something to add and a little different.
I think humor in the Wall Street Journal Europe and in the Wall Street Journal itself is one of the great secrets, that the paper is full of humor. We have every day on the front page a humorous article under our market summary in column 4. Those stories should be a delight to read. They're a delight to write.
I particularly enjoy the article on the front page every day that's usually something totally out of the ordinary and weird, either strange sports, strange activities, other strange things going on. It's a nice break.
It has something which I particularly appreciate. It has humor.
Generally, not just in that center column story, it's generally written with a liveliness and good humor.
One measure of the commitment of the Journal Europe to provide the most complete coverage of global and European news and prices is its late lockup, the latest of any European newspaper. We know that our readers rely on us to have closing prices from New York, and this means that every night is a race against the clock to get the paper produced with the latest news and prices long after other papers have gone to bed. The stories come over the fax lines from Brussels, London, New York, Paris, and other bureaus. As they come in, they're pasted up on the appropriate pages. The pace is deliberate. The focus on accuracy is intense. On a typical night, it's midnight or later before the last pages are finally set.
Okay, Europe is locked up at 15 after midnight.
The printing plate's made, and printing can begin. Coming up to 12:30 a.m. and the first papers are rolling off the presses and being bundled for various destinations. Just outside, couriers are checking their watches. Some are standing by to grab their papers and cover the distance to Brussels Airport in time for a plane that leaves in less than an hour. The margin for error is measured in minutes. Other couriers are ready to race for Berlin and dozens of other cities across Northern Europe to hand-deliver copies by 6 a.m. The finished paper is beamed by satellite to other printing plants in the UK and Switzerland, so that Journal Europe readers from London to Moscow and from Helsinki to Ankara have the news and information they need to get on with their business day.
There are three things which make us a really relevant buyer to the current media planning schedule situation. Firstly, we have an unparalleled quality of audience, those people that shape and propel European business. Secondly, we're particularly proud of the quality of the product itself, and I think that is entirely in keeping with the style and tempo and heritage of the Wall Street Journal and the reputation that's established around the world for many, many years now. And thirdly, we can deliver those two elements at a very economic cost. So I think with the figures working out like they do for us, and the status of both the quality of the audience and the publication, we can bring real excitement, pizzazz, and we're going to add a very sexy element to an advertising schedule.
As an European living in France, it's a very useful, and I would even say necessary, addition to what I have to read every day.
We had the CEO of Campbell Soup over here for the first time about a year ago, David Johnson. And he picked it up at my desk, because I start with it every morning. And he was so impressed that he said to his international staff in the States, I want you to read the Wall Street Journal Europe every day, which I thought was very interesting.
From our point of view, the European edition is really superior to the American one, because we've got interests that extend all over the world.
The Wall Street Journal Europe, with its unparalleled news gathering and analysis resources, with its highly defined target of senior international business people, with its high impact, high quality circulation, and its highly competitive advertising rates, puts our readers in touch with the world, and you in touch with our readers. The Wall Street Journal Europe is the business newspaper of Europe, looking forward to its next decade at the heart of the community.